So I'm going to stay off my video.
Before you came in, Anneli, I was sharing with the team that we're in preliminary talks. Well, I wouldn't say even preliminary talks, that we're going to be doing a joint meetup probably on January 12th, right?
Yeah.
The Afrika Dao and the Her Dao, which I'm incredibly excited about.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. And we have ocean women coming along as well. And that's awesome. So it looks like it's going to be a far-ranging event, and hopefully a lot can come from it.
Yes, it's going to be good. So Anneli, maybe I'll give everyone a quick chance to introduce themselves before we start letting everyone in, because this is kind of the core team right now.
Okay.
Tim, do you want to go first?
Sure. Yeah, I'm Tim Receiver. I'm the director of programs at Peace Tech Lab now, and been working in Africa for probably about 8 years now on different projects. Right now we're doing radio dramas in South Sudan and work on countering hate speech across Africa. And
nice.
Excited to be with everybody today. Yeah.
Yeah, and he forgot to mention he's a key member of the Afrika Dao, right, Tim?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Most importantly, I was saving the best for last.
Hello, I'm Mireia from the Afrika Dao.
Hi.
Hello. I'm sorry, we've got a kid here, so I'm just.
Thank God we have Tim, because logistics will be a bit complicated for us.
I've got the easy part with logistics. The children are the hard part.
So we also have Jack.
Hello. Hi, everybody.
Hi, Jack.
Hi. Hi there. Sorry, I didn't catch your name, and the little one too.
I'm Mireia. I've got the other camera. Just we've got problems with the audio, so it's weird.
Mireia. Yeah.
Got it.
So we've got two screens.
And this is Flavia.
Flavia. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Cool. I got 3 on my own, so yeah.
Yeah.
Jack, does it get easier?
Yes, it actually does.
You're just being nice.
No, it's true. They get to play with one another, so it lightens your load over time. So if you chart the graph, it goes this way.
Okay.
But Jack, I think you'll agree that 2 is not double the effort; it's exponential.
It's
exponential first, and then after that it burns off.
Yeah.
One more. So yeah, it's fun. It's a fun journey. It's not the destination, right? It's the journey.
Yeah. So you'll be on the other camera?
Yeah, I'm on the other camera.
That's Mireia. Name Mireia. That's her.
Yeah.
Okay, no.
And we also have Jay, and we have Anneli.
Hi, Jack. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you guys.
So I'm the founder of Secu Games in Nairobi, Kenya. We're a social impact gaming platform, creating a blockchain DAO on Harmony for increasing financial resilience amongst youth in Africa.
I heard it earlier too. Yes, cool. Very, very cool. It's a very, very novel effort. So thank you for doing that.
Awesome. Shall I just do a quick intro? Everyone knows me, right?
Yeah, feel free, Annalie, go ahead.
Okay, yeah, so I'm Annalie. I'm the founder of Her DAO, which is a women developer DAO in the Harmony family. But we're just about now getting ready to prepare for obviously the Afrika Dao joint meetup, but also for ETH Denver. So our mission is to get 150 women to ETH Denver, which is a mammoth exercise, but that's also funded by Harmony, and they have been super fantastic because they've really made the commitment. They've realized the issue and they haven't quibbled. They've put their money where their mouth is, and a lot of projects could actually benefit from following the Harmony template. So we're bringing 150 women to ETH Denver. We're planning loads of events, but the great thing is that women are hacking. So women are going to be entering competitions and building things. And you know, with my research with Mozilla, when I was on the Black Interrogations of AI program, you know, it suddenly became, it became obvious that if we want the future to look like us, then we have to build it. So that is part of that whole mission, to get women and to get a more diverse, group of people building tools for the future that we all want to see.
Well said.
And only, I'm not sure we mentioned it, but we're looking at looking also at organizing a gender hackathon, something we need to talk about. I think we already did, didn't we?
Well, I think you mentioned it to the others, but yeah, we are, that's on the agenda to have a joint hackathon. It's the end of January, round about there, end of January.
So we were playing with dates, and we're thinking of doing it on International Women's Day on March 8th. Just seems like a perfect day to do it.
That would be great. That would be fantastic, and that
Nairobi,
actually gives us more. That gives us more time, and
that's what we thought,
we'll be coming from Denver then, and then I think in between, and then there's ETH Rio, and then there's ETH Barcelona, and then there's all of these new conferences springing up.
We'll actually be organizing ETH Kenya, by the way.
Yeah, I thought that was coming. I was waiting for that. But yeah, that would be which month?
Probably in September.
Cool. I mean, obviously, I don't need to say that Her DAO will be supporting that and doing the best we can for that. That's awesome. ETH Kenya.
Cool. Yeah, and
we're happy to host the hackathon.
Yeah. Oh, good. That'll be fun. That's actually a great idea. Yeah.
Great. I think
fabulous.
Oh, there they are.
Conversation. Hey guys. Good. Are you able to hear me, both live audience and also the audience online? Perfect. So welcome to the first showcase of harmony-based projects in Africa. It's such a big opportunity and such a big honor to be able to host this, the first event in Kenya. And it's quite amazing. Within a short period of time, within 2 weeks, we've been able to get more than 8 guys to present today. So thank you so much for the live audience for making time as well as for those guys joining online. Thank you so much. Karibuni sana. Maybe you can wave, maybe you can see us. Perfect. So again, my name is George Maina. I'm part of Harmony Africa Governance, and within our DAO, we have been able now to create a bit of sensitization about Harmony and the Harmony protocol, and what are the different advantages, what are the opportunities, as well as about the 300 million grants in terms that's going to support projects, as well as support DAOs, as well as support all kinds of items. So as part of the African governors, we are joined by the main governor, Mr. Eduardo. I'll request him just maybe to say a word and say hi to the live audience, as well as to the physical audience here in Nairobi, Kenya. Great, Eduardo, you take it over.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I'll just take a second, because after all, George, the merit goes to you. You've done a tremendous job putting this together. So it's very nice of you to let me say a few words, but you're the man here. You're the one that's been leading the charge, doing a tremendous amount of work. We're very, very glad and proud to have you on the Afrika Dao. As we all know, the objective of the Afrika Dao is to support exercises like this one, which means to reinforce the harmony ecosystem in Africa in all possible ways and manners, as much as possible from a bottom-up perspective. And I think today is a fantastic exercise in this sense, right, George? This is a follow-up from a meetup we only did 2-3 weeks ago, where we did the first harmony meetup in Kenya. And during the discussions we had, people got excited about the possibility of how harmony works, the opportunities we have, and this incredibly generous grant program, mostly that revolves mostly around grants. And in only 2 or 3 weeks, we saw so many people interested. We thought it'd be a great idea to give everyone the opportunity to present their project. The idea today then is for everyone to have a constructive discussion to see what you're thinking, where do you want your DAO to go, what are the objectives behind it, how do you want to achieve them, and that we all discuss it a bit to reinforce your proposals so that once they are published, they get a higher chance of being accepted. Of course, not all DAOs can be accepted. It's competitive. There's an incredible amount of great project out there. I recommend everyone to go to talk.harmony.one, where you will see how they're growing exponentially. But I really, really think we have a very, very strong cohort of ideas here, having followed them closely. A special hello also to the rest of the Afrika Dao gang. There's Tim, there's Mireia. We're also joined by Onali from her DAO. A quick note: we will be doing a joint meetup in January, on January 12th, a gender-themed meetup. So stay tuned for that. And now I would like to introduce Jack Chan from Harmony, who's going to say a few words of encouragement to all these wonderful upcoming projects. Up to you, Jack. On to you, Jack.
Thanks, Edward. Hello, everyone. Very glad to be here this evening at this meetup. We are so excited to have folks, boots on the ground in Africa, very enthusiastic to talk more about how blockchain and harmony can help with the region. So philosophically, I think the Afrika Dao, put together by the team over here, it's amazing. We love the objective of what the DAO is all about, making sure that we could see to it that there is technical proliferation and helping people understand what blockchain could be developed in the Africa region. So we're just super excited here to be here, and then also very happy to see that there's a possibility to talk more about the technology behind blockchain and how we can actually solve day-to-day issues. And this is going to be a long process. Of the $300 million fund, we have committed $2 million over the next 2 to 3 years to help with this effort. So we are just super thankful for the people that's helping with this initiative. And we look forward to see more and more interesting DAOs being formed over time, thanks to the team over here. Back to you, Edward.
Thank you very much. I think we should get going. We have a very large number of presentations, and what we really want to hear is you guys, right? So George, back to you. We'll let you take a few minutes to explain the rules, because we've discussed we'll be very strict on the rules because we have so many interesting groups that want to discuss, and perhaps you can explain how the process will work, yeah? And off we go.
Okay, thank you so much, Ed, and thank you so much, Jack, for being able to join us. And in Kenya, we say karibuni sana. And to be honest, tonight, we have very amazing projects as well as DAOs. And it's quite a good thing to see that we have a very vibrant community that's able now to come up with these different ideas as well as different different kind of DAOs. And we hope that we're going to wow you, as well as we hope that the global community that's joining us tonight, that's going to be impressed with the couple of projects that are coming from their side. Now, the good thing, we have 8 teams presenting, and we have 6 from Kenya, as well as we have 2 from Nigeria. And it's quite wonderful that we even got Nigeria as well on this. And now, before we jump to the presentation, just some house rules on how to present. So each presenter is going to get 5 minutes, just where they're going to present, talk about what's the whole idea, what's the whole goal and the objectives. And then we're going to get 5 minutes for the Q&A. So we expect some comments, some questions coming from the live audience, as well as some comments coming from the audience that's going to join us online. So with that, I think we are going to start home. We are going to start with the first presentation. It's about the Kenya Harmony Dao. And the whole goal is to be able now to support such initiatives like the one that you're having, as well as just to make sure that we scale up even to other smaller communities. So in a few minutes, we'll be projecting the presentation. So each team, each member gets 5 minutes of presentation and then 5 minutes of Q&A. We're going to time it. So just in a few, we go online. The first one, put Kenya Harmony down. So great. So to the live audience, welcome. To the global audience, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. So welcome. So my name is George Maina, and I'm one of the main governors for the Kenya Harmony Dao. And we're going just to present and also to showcase what is Kenya Harmony Dao and what are we about. Move to the second slide. Kenya is known to be the Silicon Savannah. We are among the most innovative countries in Africa. In fact, we're top 3. And the good thing, we also have a very vibrant population. We're talking about 62% of our population being young people, very, very innovative, very, very vibrant. And again, we're talking about very innovative products coming from this side. We're talking like mobile money, like M-Pesa, whereby we transact over $16 billion on the platform. But with all those good things, we have challenges. We have challenges whereby we lack opportunities such the one we're having right now, whereby young people are not able to meet as well as interact and share ideas, especially with emerging technologies such as blockchain. And besides that, in terms of technical skill set, we're quite low, and there's no enough training facilities that can be able now to help us to scale and move to the next level. So as part of the Kenya Harmony Dao, what we propose, as we move to the next slide, as part of the Kenya Harmony Dao, we propose that harmony should be on wheels. Why should harmony be on wheels? We should be on the move. We should move to colleges. We should move to campuses and then have college nights, as well as have campus weekends. And the reason for these campus weekends and college nights is to create sensitization, to create awareness. With this awareness, we're going to form new communities, and these new communities are going to build, are going to mentor, are going to train other people who are interested on building on the blockchain, as well as on building on the Harmony protocol. Besides that, we need to grow the number of validators. And the reason why we need to grow the number of validators is so that we can be able to increase the adoption of the Harmony One coin here. So if we increase the number of validators, then we increase the adoption of Harmony One. Besides that, we need to make sure that we're operating on the same page as the policymakers. So we need to be part of the lobby groups. We need to influence, as well as we need to help them in policy making, as well as to be able to understand what blockchain is and what is Harmony as well. Besides that, we need to make sure that that even our community is able to understand what is Harmony about. For us to do that, we need to translate the Harmony website from English to one of our local as well as national languages, that's been Swahili. And not forgetting, we need also to include young ladies, and we need to make sure that as much as there are many young guys who are building on blockchain as well as on Harmony, we need to make sure that the ladies are covered as well. And for us to be able to do this, there's a cost elements. And this cost elements will go now to us now funding maybe the college awareness nights, as well as funding elements such as the meetups, as well as funding Harmony speed dates. And what I mean by Harmony speed dates, we mean whereby we get mentors, as well as we get founders, as well as we get developers and project owners. We link them up whereby they can be able now to share ideas, as well as they can help each other to grow. As we move to the next slide, we are costing and our cost estimate for us to be able to do this for the next maybe 3 to 4 months. It's around $78,000 US, and it's going to go on Harmony on Wheels. These are college visits, whether on a weekly basis or maybe on a weekend basis, as well as we're going to do a bit of meetups, as well as we're going to participate in innovation events, because Kenya is one of the hubs of, it's one of the biggest destination of innovation events, and we need to be part of this, and we need to make sure that Harmony gets the visibility that's needed. So with that, I'll go to the last slide, whereby this is what we plan to achieve with all those activities. The first one, we are going to grow new Harmony communities. Once we go to schools, we are going to make sure there will be mushrooming of new communities, new DAOs. From there, we are going to make sure that there's developments of new platforms running on the Harmony protocol, as well as we're going to make sure that we mount founders with mentors, as well as we mount developers with the relevant project needs. And lastly, we are going to have a Swahili Harmony website. So thank you so much. You can reach us on Twitter at Kenya Harmony Dao, as well as you can write to us at kenyaharmonydao@gmail.com. And this time I welcome questions. If you have any question from the live audience, as well as from the audience that's joining us online. Great. Any questions? Great, we have a question from the live audience.
Yeah, thank you. Now, of course, there are some DAOs that probably will be doing some of the things that you're planning to do. So, have you thought of where you're also going to collaborate with the DAOs? So that
Yeah,
George, sorry, let's get the microphones closer, please.
Okay, I'll repeat the question. So, okay, let me just repeat the question. So my friend Paul is asking, how are we going to make sure that we don't collide with other DAO's objectives? So as part of Kenya Harmony Dao, the main objective is to support the new DAOs that are being formed. Because if there's a DAO which is training, we also need to be part and maybe help and see how we can be able to chip in. So if there's the DAO that's doing maybe a translation, we need to make sure that we help them and give them enough support. And our goal is now to create awareness of Harmony, as well as to support those DAOs that are going to mushroom. Yeah, just like as the part of the Afrika Harmony Dao, the main goal of Kenya Harmony Dao is to be able to support the DAOs that are going to come from here, as well as to create that awareness, create that visibility. And so our main objective is just visibility, awareness, but now not dwelling on maybe just one specific item. Yeah, great. Any question from maybe live audience or online audience?
Hey, George, I've got a two-part for you. It's how many people do you anticipate impacting with this training, and can it be replicated in more countries in Africa?
Of course. As I say, Kenya, 60% of our population is young people. Maybe for the next 2 years, we hope to impact over 200,000 young people belonging to different colleges as well as students, as well as campuses. And we are going to do this in partnership of other DAOs that are going to be formed from here. And then from there, we're also going to scale our work to other parts. But we're going to start gradually. We're going to start in Kenya as well as grow to East Africa. And then with now the mother DAO, that's the Harmony Afrika Dao, then we're going to collaborate in some of the activities from training as well as creating that awareness and visibility. Great.
Yeah, thank you, George. And I think we're over time for this, so I think we probably need to move on.
Yeah. So thank you so much, and kindly support and also reach us on our Twitter page. That's Kenya Harmony Dao, as well as write to us at Kenya Harmony Dao at Gmail, as well as support our project on the Harmony Dao proposals. And if you have any questions, just shoot it to us. Thank you so much. We welcome the next presentation, which is from Paul. Paul is going to do this. The stage is all yours. Just a minute.
To those of us who are watching from different parts of the world, good evening, good morning, good afternoon. My name is Paul Makolaka, and today I'm going to represent Africa Blockchain Youth Ambassadors. And with Africa Blockchain Youth Ambassadors, we are trying to solve one of the key things that I think is a big problem that has hampered adoption of blockchain technology, not just across Africa, but in other parts of the world. Now, Africa, youth account for about 60% of all the unemployed. And then also the youth, we have lack of skill set when it comes to blockchain and other emerging technologies. And there's also a lack of adequate and useful information about blockchain and crypto. A lot of times when you mention the word blockchain, the first thing that comes is probably the money they have lost. So for us, with this DAO, we are trying to solve that problem. Next slide, please. Now, our strategy is actually to target university students. Why are we targeting university students? University students are at a transition stage, a transition from an institution of higher learning to to the job market or to the business world. So we want to prepare them because the world is moving to a decentralized future. But the question is that I may ask, are we prepared for that decentralized future? So we are coming in to ensure that our young people at the universities, we train them, we give them the necessary skills that they require to thrive in a decentralized world. One of the reasons why we have picked on university students is because university students, number one, because of the level of education, they are able to pick and understand the technology very fast. They are able to learn things in the shortest time possible. So we plan to use them as the ambassadors for pushing for adoption of blockchain technology in this part of the world. The way we are going to do that is that we plan to set up what we call blockchain clubs at the universities. Now, a blockchain club at the university will work like a franchise. In that, when we come and set up, we train them, we set them up, and we let them to run autopilot, whereby the students themselves will actually run the show. And we foresee that in a few years, in two to 3 years, we should be able to see a lot of ideas coming from these universities, ideas coming from these young people, because we want the youth of this region, the youth of Africa, to push this agenda. And we want them to be at the forefront of pushing for a new decentralized world. Now, by doing this, we'll actually be developing a community, not just a community of developers, because what we are thinking is a lot of initiatives have been going to develop community of developers. But if we look at the other way around, have we also been developing a community of users? Because when we develop blockchain products, we also need people to them and to use them. So for us, we are actually killing two birds with one stone. Number one, through the university students, we are able to elicit interest among the students so that those who want to become developers in the blockchain space, they can go ahead. And those who want to be involved in blockchain, not necessarily as developers, but also consumers, because in a few years, these are the same people that are going to be business owners. They are going to be working as employed. These are the people who will spearhead the implementation of these projects. Last slide, the other slide. Now, our implementation is that once we set up a blockchain club at the university, we are planning to develop our own inbuilt, in-house online learning management system and develop the modules so that within every club, we take them through a 6 weeks course so that once they are trained, then they become our ambassadors and they can preach the message of decentralized system, including blockchain. And then the other thing, of course, we'll develop a calendar of activities. We plan to do quite a number of things, including having national competitions whereby different chapters or different divisions within the clubs can actually be competing against each other in terms of coming up with ideas. And then, of course, the last thing that we'll do is that we'll develop a measuring, reporting, and verification mechanism. Because again,
30 seconds, please, Paul. 30 seconds.
I'm done. Yeah, so this is what our budget is. If you want to get more details, you can actually go to our proposal on the Harmony portal, and you'll be able to get a breakdown of what we plan to do. Our ask is 960K within 1 year, and first quarter we are asking for 250. And for this, we are going to start in Kenya. We plan to cover at least 6 countries within Eastern Africa. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Paul, thank you very much, Paul. So we're going to take questions either from the audience or from someone online. Any questions?
Specifically, we are targeting university students. And number two, we are going to develop an online learning management system. Because again, we are going to a decentralized future. So we do not want this training to be hampered by distance or time, so that students, wherever they are, they can actually access these training modules from any part of the world or from anywhere they are.
Hey, Paul, I think, oh, sorry. Go ahead, Maura.
Hi, I have a two-part question. As a university lecturer, which universities? And also, do I understand correctly that a blockchain is a form of software? So what you're actually suggesting with a blockchain club is like a club to learn a new programming language, like JavaScript or something like that? Is starting a blockchain club like starting a club to teach a new programming language to people?
So actually for us, what we are planning is that to give them an introduction to blockchain, what blockchain is, what it is not, about cryptocurrency, what it is not. And for that, we are targeting not necessarily technical students. Actually with this, we are targeting anyone, whether you are doing education, whether you are doing arts, whether you are doing psychology. Because at the end of the day, at one point in time, these are the people who will need to absorb these solutions. So they need to know what blockchain is, so that in future, when it comes up in the organizational business, they will know what it is and what it is not.
Okay.
One question from Jack.
Hi, it's not a question, but maybe a follow-up answer. So the question is whether blockchain is another programming language. There's no simple answer. What I can summarize is it is and it is not. It is as in there are new programming languages involved. It is not as in it's not just a programming language, it's a new form of internet. So it's a new form of internet where today's internet allows you to read from it and then also interact by, either saying you like something or you want to pay for something, so you can interact with it. But you actually don't own the data that you eventually put into the internet. With blockchain, that's what we call that the current internet is called Web 2. So with blockchain is considered Web 3, and Web 3 enables you to not only just interact with it and make micropayments and make cross-border payments, for example, but if there are use cases where you actually say build a content for education, and just say, let's say you're teaching something, the content that you're using to teach could also be considered your own content, and you have the ability to manage and control that content distribution yourself and not have a different company like Facebook or Pinterest be managing the content for you. So it's an entirely new concept. But I think the main purpose is to first get started and see what kind of problems could be solved in a very practical way with technology. And then we can see whether the blockchain technology could solve for that. Blockchain technology doesn't solve all problems, but it solves quite a lot. Back to you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Paul. Thank you so much, Jack, as well. Yvonne, my colleague, we're going to introduce the next speaker. So Yvonne, I hand over to you.
Thank you very much. Great job. Now, project called Advanced Capital. So welcome, David. Let's have a
Microphone, please. Microphone.
Harmony to Kenya or Harmony to Africa. Make sure you have a question, you just shoot it online. Give us, you can even ask for the site problems, we're going to get back to you. So, welcome again. Go online, tweet Harmony to Kenya, Harmony to Africa. Thank you so much. Now we welcome next on stage, Mr. David. David from Andela.
It's live, right? Mic check. All right. Do you hope you guys can all hear me? How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing? That's good. That's good. All right. I'm gonna make this very short and sweet. Hopefully we can interact so you can get to know my point of view. Let's begin on slide number 2. So the product is called Advent Capital. I'm currently the founder and CEO of this product. It's a crypto company. Secondly, in terms of my experience, the reason why I started with this particular slide of me is because when somebody is building a product, especially associated with cryptocurrency, it's important for the users and also the people who are being educated through crypto to know who is the face behind the product. And also it creates, at least, you know, if you're also a high school student, a university student, you can also be inspired to also take the same path in creating your own product. So secondly, the second slide is the reason why we are here is because we are here to make sure that we're solving some problems in Kenya, especially the scams, the pyramid schemes, and that is initially why it brought me to this level of building my product, is because initially when I started my journey, I was in Malaysia for 7 years and I interacted with cryptocurrency. I was a graphic designer. I then was being paid in Bitcoin. And immediately when I came back to Kenya after finishing my master's, I ended up finding out I can't buy Bitcoin with either my bank card, my bank account, or even through M-Pesa. So then it took me to this particular point when you end up finding out that pyramid schemes happen all the time in Kenya. Somebody's in a chama, next thing you know, you're being recruited into buying into a coin and you don't know what's going on. So Advent Capital cuts that problem out by making sure you know what a coin is, what blockchain is, how to transact on-ramp and off-ramp. When I mean on-ramp and off-ramp, that means to buy and sell. Secondly, full transparency. The first time when I first started and I bought crypto was through a license exchange. It could have been any of them in Europe, but the key part is for it to be licensed so that when you put your money in, it's protected, it's safeguarded. And thirdly, it's privacy, because you're putting your card details, your bank account, and your personal information. It's important that the database in which the product is taking your information and saving it on the database is not being sold by third parties. So our product just puts all these narratives together and solves this problem for users, because our main product is for transactions. On to the fourth slide. Now, in terms of our product, we currently have a widget, which then is going to be for buying and selling. Secondly, we're going to be having a wallet, which is going to be on your mobile app. Same way you would use any other wallet on your mobile phone. You download it, you buy and sell. This is for custodial reasons. And also, we're going to be having debit cards, virtual and physical. So you can be able to buy and sell without having to just withdraw to your bank account or mobile money. And last but not least, ATM cards. We look to at least start with our widget, which is currently live. And our website details is right over here. And we are really targeting people who are crypto traders and also crypto enthusiasts. And now off to the good part. To the fifth slide, please. Now, when it comes to what we're solving, this is going to be an introduction of how our user interface is so that you can know how to buy and sell. And of course, like I mentioned to you, it's going to be pretty fast. You can be able to interact, faster payment, between 5 to 15 minutes if you're doing with a debit card, 2 to 5 business days if you're doing through a bank account, and it could be local and international. And off to the sixth slide. Now, the key part, like I mentioned to you, is that it's important that an exchange is licensed. For our Advent Capital product, you can be able to fund internationally through European means. It could be SEPA transfer, SWIFT transfer, as we all know, which is through your USD bank account, your Euro bank account, Visa, MasterCard, Chase, and in Europe, in the UK, they use faster payment. And for the locals, I know this is pretty juicy for you guys. You can use your bank account, your mobile money, cash points, and ATM cards. And this is a bit of an introduction. We're going to be having fiat wallets, which you can onload from your bank to the wallets. And this is a bunch of the assets we have. In terms of our licensing, we have international partners to work with for our out of the country transfers. And they're licensed in Europe, they're licensed in America through FinCEN, in Canada through FinTech, which is a mobile service license. And now we're targeting Kenya, which will allow us to at least operate, be able to onboard mobile money and also bank transfers with Kenya shilling, because most of the people, they're not using Kenya shillings directly. They're using it as a conversion with USD. But we are looking to make it very economical, very cheap for you to buy and sell, because we believe it's important that you don't know what Bitcoin is, you want to buy it, but once you buy it, you're having trouble in Kenya trying to sell it so you can get your profits. Maybe you want to fund your own chama, you want to do a lot of things. So, and last but not least, it comes to our financial aspect. Next, the last one, which is our ask. 7th slide, please. Our ask right now is the source of funds is a total of 2,400 pounds, which is going to be split in some assets that we have, which is cost of licensing, fixed assets for liquidity internationally and locally. And also this is our marketing strategy, which will be through social media, through meetup, meet and greet, like what we're doing right now. This is where most of our funding is going, through pre-launching for a one-year program and our marketing campaign. And most importantly, to partner with the local community. If you have a PSP service, you're a bank, we're here to work with you guys and employ and create employment. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you so much, David.
Yeah.
And to the live audience, we welcome questions, as well as to the online audience. We welcome questions for David.
Yeah.
Luckily, we have one question from the live audience.
My name is Gracious. So the objective of blockchain is to decentralize existing systems.
Yeah.
So the exchange will be set up as a centralized exchange or a decentralized exchange. And if it's a centralized exchange, what differentiates it from the existing exchanges that are present?
Very, very good question. So we're currently, our wallet is definitely going to be centralized because we need to be licensed first. We're going to start very basic. We have to be licensed. And in order for that, to know our KYC, both internationally and locally, both as a stakeholder, we need to be identified with regulators. So we come as centralized, where you can buy and sell locally, and that makes it a lot easier. And we're also looking to take out the Kenyan market so that you can relate, that you know that our product is for your use. We understand your problems because it's a Kenyan-owned business, and we're looking to promote all the ways to buy and sell locally. Internationally, you find yourself buying and selling. Next thing you know, your account is frozen. They tell you, okay, they don't support Kenya shillings. Us, we are predominantly looking to take in the African market, make it easier for Africans to buy and sell. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you very much for the question. Guys, I'm not seeing you. Please tweet Harmony to Africa, Harmony to Kenya. We have another question from the live audience.
Anybody from live audience? Any questions?
I think Jay, do you want to ask that question live?
Sorry, just with my connection, I thought it might be easier to type it. But yeah, David, if you can hear me, I'm just wondering, now that there's crypto to M-Pesa on-off ramps operating already with companies like Binance, BitPesa, and Kotani Pay doing instant transactions, how are you differentiating from them? And is the problem that you described at the beginning still there?
I can currently confirm that you can no longer be buying through Binance with M-Pesa because it's initially, I know from my market research that they're currently trying to partner with the locals, which is important both as a regulator. So in terms of M-Pesa through a system, in my opinion, P2P transfers is not something I personally promote because you have your information through the public, through a Joroge, a Kamau, a Michael Johnson on the internet. But with our centralized, you're dealing with M-Pesa through a system where your information is safe, your data is safe. For us, we're trying to solve that problem directly. And of course, the fees are definitely going to be cheaper because you can transact lower than 1,000 Kenya shillings. When these other foreign companies, they have a markup that lets you buy and sell above 7,000. The local community, average income is definitely below 7,000. So that's one of the problems we're solving. Thanks so much.
Okay, great. We don't have any other questions. We'd like to just thank you so much, Dave. Dave project is on the Harmony
Dao Kenya.
Dao Kenya. It's online. You can be able now to comment as well as even reaching there. Thank you so much, Dave.
All right, thank you so much, guys. Please enjoy.
Great. Guys, get online. Just tweet and use the hashtag Harmony to Africa, Harmony to Kenya. And then next on stage, we'll be welcoming Anthony Kimani. Anthony Kimani is one of the students in Kenya University. He's currently doing computer science, and he has a very amazing project. And before he comes, I'd like just to request even the live audience, if you have a question along, you can just post it on the chat box so that we're able now to capture each and every each and every person at the end of the day. So go online, use the hashtag Harmony to Africa, Harmony to Kenya. Thank you. We welcome now Kim or Anthony. The stage is all yours.
My name is Anthony Kimani. I was supposed to attend a graduation ceremony for my uncle the other day, and I missed it because I had to attend this event. And it got me thinking. It got me thinking on the role of blockchain. It's not the election now. Bright payroll. It got me thinking on the future, on how will blockchain look like in the next 5-10 years. The first conclusion I came up with is, number one, we are going to have a lot of decentralized platforms. Or the second option, which is going to increase adoption, is using blockchain to improve business processes so that businesses make more money. And if they make more money, we can easily solve other problems like poverty. Where's the slide? So as an example, I'm going to present, where's the slide? Okay, let us wait for the slide. It's one of the problems I thought blockchain will easily solve. So where's the slide?
Hi guys.
This will give us.
Just a minute. We put up a technical hitch, but Anthony's slide is going to be up and running. But Anthony is one of the brightest students from Kenyatta. And then he has done quite impressive work. And today we're going just to see some of one of his proposals. And I think it's on a payroll system. So just a minute, and then we shoot it up. So, but before it comes up, make sure you go online. Use the hashtag Harmony to Kenya, as well as Harmony to Africa, as my co-host reminds me. So in a few, Anthony Kimani's slide is coming up. Thank you so much. There we go.
Here's the payment system. Next slide. The payroll system. Actually. Next slide. So a simple problem that we can use blockchain to solve is, imagine John is an employer. He has 10 employees and he has a salary expense of $50,000 maybe a month. And for John to prepare his payroll, he has to, please go to the next slide. Next slide. This is how John handles his payroll. He's the employer. He uses a payroll software service. Then he takes the payroll to the bank. Then the bank pays the employer at around $1.5 fee per employee. So we thought we can use blockchain to come up with a better solution. The next slide. So our solution entails the employer sends money to our bank account, which we convert it into token. And then these tokens are sent to the employer payroll. And then the employer uses this payroll to pay the employees in their token accounts, which they can easily withdraw to in their bank accounts. So the next slide. In Kenya, we have around 1.7. Can we project your voice so that everybody? Okay. I have a cold. In Kenya, we have around 1.76 million small and mid-sized businesses. 66% of these businesses use mobile money and bank accounts to serve their customers. And so it's a huge market. It's a huge untapped market. And most of these people use salary account, which costs around $1.5 per transaction fee. But if we use our blockchain payroll system, it's going to cost around $0.3 per transaction fee, which is around 8 times cheaper. Next slide. Next slide. So since they are going to be using our network, we need to have some sort of way of making money. And so when the employer can send money to anyone else who is in the network, he can deposit money and he can withdraw money. In Kenya, to send $1.1, it costs around 6 cents. So it's very expensive to send money around in our country. For example, to send $10, it costs around 27 cents. So when they'll be using this network, it will cost around 4 cents, 2 cents, and 2 cents to do most money transactions in the network. The next slide. So our unique proposition is we'll allow users to transfer money among their peers at a very low rate, any amount of money, provided it has been converted into tokens. This money will be pegged in Swiss francs to prevent volatility. This network will allow people to send money internationally. And in Kenya, okay, we don't have a very good government, so we have an inflation problem, and it will help individuals prevent their money from being, which is a good thing to do. The next slide. We were asking for 10,000 pre-launch money to build the MVP, but I got a response yesterday. We won't get it until we build the MVP, but we have gotten an angel investor. We are going to launch the MVP in the next 2 weeks. Yeah, next slide. Okay, this was the budget. It's irrelevant now. No. Great. Yeah. So, question?
Any question?
Question. And so you've said that I love that to Safaricom. Safaricom is like the M-Pesa, yeah? Safaricom is a big company. So do you mean the low amount you charge will you set your project an open source, or it will be a company running? Then when another company absorbs it, it will mean that it becomes a business. That company will will charge the amount they want. So will your project be an open source for contribution, or will it company you're the one who will decide the amount you're going to charge?
I think it's a big problem. When someone tries to work on a project and maybe you want it to make money, it seems people in the network are have some negative aspects in terms of making money. But yeah, it's going to be a private business, and you want to make money. Yeah, yes, yeah, it's a good, because on money is used to grow the business, and since we'll be saving people a lot of money in terms of transacting with each other, I think we should create Y value in dollars and capture a certain percentage, an X of Y. So yeah, we'll have to create some money.
Let's move to the next question. Like I said before, the main aim of blockchain is to eliminate the current existing systems which are at fault. So, in your presentation, you say that you're going to use banks, yet most people in the country aren't banked. Yet you're saying another thing you said, you're going to use the Swiss franc. The innovation of cryptocurrency is meant to eliminate such types of currencies, fiat currencies. So why do we need to use the Swiss franc? Yet you can use something like Bitcoin, or you can create a token for the project itself, so that you can issue to people and create value for the token.
Let me start with the second point. With the second question, number one, there was a U.S. Congress meeting some 11 days back. So we have a big problem in cryptocurrency. The big problem is we have a lot of cryptos that are not tied directly to real money. So people are using like the cryptocurrency to scam people. So we don't want to go that direction. If you are going to make a token, it has to be pegged into something that has real value in the real economy. And what's the first question?
We move to the question to the live audience.
To the live audience, okay. No,
Just the last question to the live audience.
Okay, so Fatima is asking, is this a whole new blockchain network that you're trying to build?
No, okay. We will be building the network on Harmony. So, and probably it's kind of, because okay, maybe I should say the difference between our network and Harmony. Harmony does not uses wallets to transfer value, and we are not going to use wallets to transfer value because a lot of Kenyans don't know about blockchain or anything. So we are going to create a unique wallet but pegged to their phone number, so that it will be looking like you are using M-Pesa, although you are using blockchain. So it's more secure, but it's still, the Kenyan community can easily use it. So it's different from Harmony because we will be using phone numbers as one of the unique identifiers. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Great. Yeah, as Yvonne is going to take us on a break. Yeah, and then...
Okay, so yeah, in the interest of time, we have 3 more presentations coming up. So we want to take a 10-minute break, or we can hold it for no cause of time. Yeah. So we're going to take a 10-minute break just to allow the 3 speakers coming on next to get ready. And yeah, so.
Yeah. During the break, I think a representative maybe from Harmony or just one of the speakers from the online community or global community maybe can just have a 5-minute just say hi to the team as the next batch of presentations comes up. So I'll hand over to Eduardo, maybe just to invite someone, or maybe just to, as we take a breather, as we move to the next speaker or presenter. So Eduardo, over to you. And guys, both the live audience as well as the audience that's joining us online, make sure you use the hashtag Harmony to Africa or Harmony to Kenya. Tweet as many. If you have a question, if you're interested in a project, just go ahead and shoot it. So Eduardo, back to you.
Yes, thank you, and thank you everybody for the wonderful presentations up to now. I think from our side we'll also take the 5-10 minutes, but if anybody wants to add something else, they're welcome to do it. Nothing on our side. Thank you. Let's just say it is now past. Let's take exactly 10 minutes and have the next presentation then start in 10 minutes. And thank you very much for everyone for being here.
Okay, guys, we're back from the breather, from the live audience, as well as now the online community. Yvonne, what do you think about the events so far? What do you think about the projects?
So far, the projects are amazing. I'm so excited to hear some great ideas and the great questions that are being asked from the community. But people are still not tweeting.
Yeah, guys, get
tweet. Get on Twitter, hashtag Harmony to Africa, hashtag Harmony to Kenya.
And is it amazing that we have more women today in the crowd? And it's such good work to the Harmony Africa Dao for this amazing work. So far, we have seen the turn up of number of women has increased, and yeah, to much more. Yeah. Now we have a very, very interesting proposal which is going up next by a gentleman called Jay, and Square Jay is also part of the blockchain community in Kenya, and he has done quite amazing projects as well, and he runs also an incubation space as well as a gaming space. So without much ado, I'll welcome Jay, and I hope also the online community is back with us, and the live audience, make sure that you give a round of applause for Jay. Good.
Thanks so much, George. I hope everybody can hear me all right. I have a sort of a patchy network connection, so I'm going to turn off my video tonight, and I think Tim or the live stream team are going to run my slides for me. That's all right.
Yep, and we hear you fine, Jay. George, you ready to go with the slides there?
Excellent. So if you could start the first slide, that would be great. I can see it on the TV, but not on the stream.
One second, Jay. Let me put it on the stream.
Perfect. We got it there. Excellent. Thank you so much for the assistance. So good evening, everybody. Thank you for sticking around. I know it's late, especially a week before Christmas. So as introduced, I am Jay Shapiro. I'm the founder of the Secu Games, based here in Nairobi. I happen to be in Kilifi tonight, coming to you on my phone. So I'm mzee enough to have been founder of a big global Web 1.0 business, as well as a Web 2.0 business called AppMaker. And now hopefully we're going to build a Web 3 business through Secu Games. And I'm going to give you a brief introduction to that. So if I can ask you to go to the next slide, please. So we are a social impact gaming developer. We create games that make a difference in the world, what we call gaming for good. In the past few years, we have created or published over 30 games already in the areas of women's empowerment, gender-based violence, healthcare, climate change, reforestation, education, that sort of thing. And we've done this for a number of NGOs and governments, including the Kenya government. We just finished one for the Communication Authority on child online protection. But we're going to talk about something very specific tonight, a little bit different. So let's go to the next slide. I'll tell you about it. Great. So here's the problem that we want to address. The low financial resilience amongst the youth, initially in Kenya and then expanding across Africa. The reality is that a number of the youth, majority of the youth, really are more interested in fun and instant gratification rather than investing towards our financial safety in the future in terms of a safety net or nest egg. Kenya has the third lowest savings rate in all of sub-Saharan Africa. And just to put that in context, it is half of the rate of Nigeria on an income adjusted level. Means that the average Kenyan youth does not have the resilience to be able to withstand shocks, to having maybe been injured and not be able to work, a pandemic, a natural disaster, all sorts of different things that may keep you from having that steady stream of monthly income that you've come to rely upon. And if you don't have that savings account, you're not prepared for those shocks. And that's when, no matter how much financial momentum you may have had, it can all come crashing down very quickly. Next slide, please. Let me put this in the context that everybody sort of understands. If I asked anybody in the audience tonight to choose between broccoli or having a chocolate bar, almost everybody will say they want the chocolate bar. And if I gave you a brochure with all kinds of facts and nutritional information about how good the broccoli is for you and how in the long term you will have better health and better look better, etc., better skin, etc., by eating the broccoli, you'll still choose the chocolate bar. What we do as a company is we take that broccoli and we scrunch it all up and blend it all and we stick it inside the chocolate bar so you don't even know that you're getting the broccoli. And we do that through game activities and interactions that are also good for you. And that's exactly what we're proposing here tonight with Harmony. Can I have the next slide, please? What we're doing is creating a fun enforced saving mechanism. We're creating games. We have a portfolio of 15 games that have been built already. And I should say we are part of the Blockchain Gaming Alliance, Global Alliance, as well as the Playing for the Planet Alliance part under the UN EP as a carbon neutral studio. So what we're creating are these portfolio of games where you still get the dopamine hit of winning coins that so many people in Africa and particularly in Kenya get from, for example, sports betting, this excitement about the potential of winning and you're getting these coins. However, in the case of our platform, those coins that you win can only be cashed out for things that are socially beneficial. For example, going towards a health savings account with MTIBA or NHIF, going towards your pension fund with NSSF, investing in your future, to keep you in school longer through one of the TVETs, buying crop insurance if you happen to be in the agricultural area, health insurance through unit trusts such as Britam, or doing long-term savings by staking with Harmony One towards a rainy day or maybe a big church purchase in the future where you're actually earning interest or interest type income on your principal. Okay, next slide. Let me show you just sort of briefly at a very high level how this is going to work. We're creating two new tokens. The first one is what we call Secu Coins or USK, and that is going to be a fully liquid floating coin that we will IDO across distributed exchanges, taking in various different types of currencies and, for purchases of those. Those will ideally increase in value over time, and we have a number of deflationary tactics that will ensure that that happens. For every, let's say, $1,000 that gets invested in purchasing USK, 50% of that, 50% of that goes directly towards minting the second stable coin or our utility coin that goes directly into the games and is paid out to the youth through those socially beneficial elements like health insurance and education. The other 50% goes towards operating the platform, developing future products, and towards a 400 million shilling developer fund that we're going to create for game developers in Africa to create new games, casual web-based HTML5 games that have the APIs to tie into this platform, following very much in the model of Sandbox. And I actually met the head of the Global Game Maker Fund at Sandbox earlier this afternoon. When the players play their games, they're then winning these sort of fun, cute gold coins We never mentioned crypto or wallets or blockchain or any of that directly. So as far as they know, they're just winning these sort of cute coins. They can then use those coins to cash out for things that are better for their future. We're also going to have, of course, NFTs and collectibles within the games. There'll be ways to trade them and increase their principal, etc. But this is at a very high level how the entire platform works.
Please, let's wrap up in the interest of time.
Yep.
Okay.
Next slide, please.
The last slide from Jay, and then we head over to Q&A.
So, Jay.
Yeah, just last slide here is just on what the measurable impact is. It's going to be increasing the resilience, the number of weeks income in long-term savings for the youth. We're going to increase the staking because we're staking our pool in Harmony 1 and allowing the players to stake as well. We're creating the developer fund to support developers, and we're increasing financial inclusion by getting more people registered with NHIF and NSSF and with the accounts. So that's basically our platform, and I'll stop it there.
Great. Perfect. Great. So any questions for Jay and such a very amazing project? So any questions for Jay from live audience as well as from the online community? Any question? Yeah, we have a question.
Hello, Jay. Just play to earn games like Crypto Blades or Axie Infinity. They require some some upfront capital for you to begin playing. So, and you say that will there be a low barrier of entry for these Secu games and the tokens that the users will earn? How will you convert them to the social impact part, the social impact users, and where will the liquidity for the tokens come from?
Sure, that's a really great question. Thank you so much for both of those questions. So we're very different from Axie Infinity in two key ways. First of all, our games are free to play. We have no upfront investment required for the people to be able to get into our platform. It looks like the audience can still hear me. Are we still there? Oh, yeah, okay. It looked like the lights went out for a minute, sorry. So that's the first thing. So there is no upfront investment, it is free to play. The second thing is that Axie is very much focused on disrupting work. They're trying to create their platform as a way for people to earn income to replace work. We're not trying to change the nature of work. We're trying to change the habits around savings. And our games are very much casual 2D games that you would play in the matatu while you're in traffic on your way to work, rather.
Jay, I think they said they just had a blackout there, so they're reconnecting now.
This is Kenya. George, we can still see and hear you. I don't know if you can hear us.
I think they're getting everything back online, Jay.
All right.
Oh, okay.
Here we go.
Sorry about that. In Kenya, when it rains, the electricity company sort of removes the electric lines like clothes.
Yeah, great. Apologies for the small hiccup. We just experienced this farm blackout, but a good thing in my life. Blockchain, I think we should
Decentralize everything, even with the power, man, because we have one monopoly of that. So I don't know. I think Jay was handling one question. So maybe Jay, you can just maybe respond to that, or maybe respond to another one, and then as we move to the next speaker.
Did you hear the answer about Axie Infinity, or should I repeat that?
We got it maybe halfway. Maybe you can complete the other half.
Okay, so I'll speak more quickly this time. So there's basically two answers to it. One is our games are free to play. There is no upfront investment like Infinity. We have no barrier to entry for people to be able to play our games. That's the first thing. The second thing is that we're very different from Axie. We're not trying to disrupt work the way that Axie is, to replace work by having people play the games as a primary source of income. We're trying to change the habits around people's savings. And our games are casual games that you play in the matatu, in traffic, on your way to work, rather than trying to replace work. So we're very different from Axie in that way as well.
Okay, great. If there's no other question for Jay, I think Jay, have you posted your proposal on the Harmony One website?
Yes, we have, and I'll put the link in the chat.
Yeah. If you have additional questions, post them there, and you can connect to Jay, and also check out Secu Games as well. It's such an amazing event, Yvonne. I've seen a couple of projects that you have, from a payment gateway, all the way to a gaming platform, all the way to a whole training platform, learning platform. What else do you think we have in line?
Well, the questions are what are intriguing me. When someone is asking something, what about decentralization? What's the point of this? When we are blockchain aims to remove the middleman. Those are some of the interesting questions that we ask ourselves in the blockchain space, and I'm glad that the startup, the ideas are coming with answers and explanations to this, which is so innovative and amazing.
Yeah, quite amazing. If you want to join the conversation, make sure you tweet using the hashtag Harmony to Africa, Harmony to Kenya. Let's keep the conversation going, and let's do this. I think we have a lot more. I think three more.
Yeah, 3 more presentations.
Perfect. Guys, get online as we prepare for the next presentation. It's really amazing. And then I'll leave to Yvonne as she tells you about.
Okay, so again, reminding you to tweet or retweet the ones that have the hashtag Harmony to Africa, Harmony to Kenya. So currently we have the next presentation is going to come from Daniel. Daniel is getting set up. And after that, we'll have 2 more presentations, mine included. Yeah, so after Daniel, Bulaji, also get ready. Please show Daniel's presentation.
That looks a bit too clean. But it's basically the same. Good evening, guys. My name is Daniel Ayuko. The second name is a bit confusing because, because in Swahili, Ayuko, if you can relate. Yeah, so I'm more of, in the hack and hackers community, I'm more of the hack. So I try to make technical information easy. I'm a crypto journalist, and I also write for Kraken. Who knows about Kraken? Yeah, I write for the Kraken exchange. So I'm just furthering what I'm doing here by making information a bit more commonplace. And this proposal is to not only make it commonplace, but to bring it to your lingua franca, the language that you talk every day. So the Harmony Swahili Translation and Repository, or the Swahili Blockchainopedia DAO, proposes to make information commonplace. The proposal overview, first of all, I will talk about the situations that, in Africa, technology, like the blockchain technology, is hindered by, especially blockchain technology, inefficient technological design. When I talk about that, things such as scalability issues, interoperability because of the nascent nature of the technology, high energy demands, especially if you look at the blockchain, the Bitcoin network, low scalability, I talked about that. Oh, okay, so we are in a bit of a disconnect, yeah? Little or no regulation, lack of adequate skill sets, and inadequate information among what could easily be the prime portion of the population that is pushing for conventional adoption. Now, this is where the issue is, or rather my issue. That inadequate information. If we go to the next slide, please. George, this is not the one that but I can just use, it's okay. So the DAO's all arcing objectives are to increase blockchain adoption by providing the East African region or the Swahili speakers with a comprehensive translation of Harmony.1 for obvious reasons. And then create a repository with adequate information and articles in Swahili. This targets budding crypto enthusiasts, but also all Swahili speakers who want to, really get the gist, and especially policymakers. If you go to some place like Tanzania, some of the sessional papers are written in Swahili. Policy papers are written in Swahili. So if they had that, if they had a Swahili website that has all this information, writing the session papers or the policy papers that involving adoption of such a technology will be a lot easy. So that is what I'm looking at. And then opening the region to blockchain technology solutions by providing a hub where crypto enthusiasts can learn. That is what I was calling the Swahili Blockchainopedia. We are planning to start with about 250 titles and articles that define the common words or wordings like what is Bitcoin, what is Ethereum, what is blockchain technology, a DeFi and stuff like that. The common things that people would want to know, but in a language that they relate to. So increasing the popularity of Harmony Network and its solutions to the East African population. There are collaborations that we are looking at. The people who we bring on board to say translate, to write the articles in Swahili. Of course, we are these are not necessarily crypto practitioners or crypto enthusiasts, but when we bring them on board, we also tell them about what Harmony does, what the blockchain does, and stuff like that. And then we hope for converts. And if we go ahead, you'll see that. The next slide, please. The background, context, and strategy. Well, this is a bit more of common information, but I will go over it all the same. The East African region has a population of almost 460 million. That is 6% of the world's population. And this is not just the Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda, Burundi, and we're talking about northern Mozambique, a huge chunk of Malawi, some parts of Zambia, Congo, DRC. These people speak Swahili. If you're looking at the East African bloc as the entry point of blockchain technology, conventional blockchain adoption in Africa, then making this information easier for them to get would be move in the right direction. Now, the region has a combined GDP of, again, almost 400 billion US dollars. Who here remembers about the German policy on special funds that I think around 3, 4, 5 months ago, when they passed a law that allows for the management of special funds to take some of that and invest in crypto. Who heard about that? So imagine if only 20% of this went into, crypto investments. It is a lot of money. But how do you do that when the people don't have information? So that is why we have the Blockchainopedia proposal. That is why we want to do all those translations. So you see the lack of adequate and readily available information is, and especially among policymakers, is making this money not to go where it's supposed to. So we are trying to change that and creating a repository and popularizing it among, sorry for that, Ndizimingi, I think. Popularizing it among the target audience will make it easy for everyone to understand the technology's breadth of possibilities a lot easily. The next, so the DAO will contract expert translators and Swahili language experts to prepare a draft for Harmony website. Besides, it will contract writers who produce material for the Blockchainopedia. Next, please. So that's the team. Next, that's the budget, which I think is plain for everyone to see and very straightforward. Next, the metrics of success are there. Next, so that's next.
Thank you, Daniel. That was a wonderful presentation. Do we have any questions from the live audience?
There's a question.
Okay. Oh, hello, Daniel. My name is Stephen Minor, CEO of Swahili Study. We deal in providing educational Swahili content online. And one of the challenges that we've had is the policies between the countries that speak Swahili, between, let's say, Tanzania and Kenya. Like in Tanzania, we have very strict policies about how Swahili should be used, whether in the media or anywhere. That means that the content that the people get to see is falls between a boundary of high quality. But here in Kenya, we have even the media station. If you look in the media station, you have speakers and all that stuff. Now, how do you propose to, how do you suggest, what do you propose should be the remedy to combat maybe between blockchain and Swahili Blockchainopedia? How will you combat issues that arise from maybe misinterpretation of Swahili, maybe sharing and all that stuff? How do you suggest that you combat that? Yeah.
When we start, we're proposing to do 60 articles every 2 months. That's the reason why I say we contract Swahili translators. So we work with professional content creators and professional Swahili translators. But of course, that will also undergo, a rigorous process of fact checking to see that what we have there is the right information. Because we don't want to start this on a false step by including misinformation here. What we want is to bring this information to the people. So it doesn't make sense if the information that we are sharing with people is, not the right information. I don't know if that answers your question. Yeah.
Spirit of translation. In the spirit of translation, would you start translating that instead of calling Blockchainopedia, you can give it a Swahili name so that
Great suggestion. Yeah.
Okay, so we did this just for the purposes of this presentation, but you're already working on a few words just to get us started, like blockchain in Swahili, Ethereum in Swahili, Bitcoin in Swahili, and stuff like that to get things rolling.
Okay, we'll take one of the live questions. Do we have any? No, no question. So do we have any, guys, before we go to another question, are you tweeting? If you actually decided with George, we'll have a sort of competition for the most tweet of the night. We'll give you something small, wink. So do we have a final question for Daniel, or we're good now to the next speaker?
I think guys are thinking about, you know, a blockchain, what would be the name for blockchain in Swahili. And I think this should be the community that comes up with that name. And yeah, let's get online. If you have any suggestion for, you know, what would you think would be blockchain in Swahili? Use the hashtag Harmony to Africa, Harmony to Kenya, and give us suggestion about now what you think about blockchain in Swahili.
Uh-huh.
Do you have an idea, Yvonne?
Okay. Nyororo ya chuma, doshi. Okay, tweet that name and we'll be giving you a small reward. So next we'll have Bolaji. Bolaji has a project called Nifty Roll. Nifty Roll. He's online.
Amazing. Yeah.
Yes,
Bolaji
I am online.
Yeah, perfect. Bolaji, welcome. Bolaji
Thank
is joining
you.
us all the way from Nigeria. A round of applause for Bolaji. Not only a Kenya thing, it's an Africa thing. And we're glad to have Bolaji representing Nigeria. Another round of applause for Bolaji.
Bolaji, take it away.
Yeah, thank you very much, everybody. I'm actually in London. I've been traveling past week or so from Lagos to Dubai and now London. Yeah, I am from Nigeria and I'm very glad to be here. And I'll be talking about the project called Nifty Row, which is the NFT marketplace for the unsung. Looking at starting with Africa, of course, and we hope to collaborate with others in the MENA region and South America as time goes on. So basically, I would like to start with the introduction. You know, as I did mention, we are a marketplace, an NFT marketplace, and everybody always asked me, what's going to be different about you guys? There's some, you know, quite a number of marketplaces out there, and that's true. But nobody is trying to address some of the prevalent issues of the traditional art market, which is actually quite huge. Globally, that market is about $64–65 billion market, and Africa actually commands a fifth of that market, despite these prevalent issues of trust, authenticity, provenance of artwork, time to market, how long it takes artists to get their work to the market, and of course, inadequate financial services. Here in Nigeria, credit is so expensive. Artists are not even recognized as real professionals who can maybe pledge their artwork as collateral. So we're trying to use blockchain to solve and eliminate some of these issues. Of course, over time and even recent history, we've had the issues of theft and counterfeiting also. So we're looking to set up, we've already developed the marketplace. It's in alpha stage, going through testing, and it's live. Everybody can, you know, have a go and experience it. We've recently just deployed a smart contract on the Harmony testnet, and that's been verified. So beyond the marketplace, we feel the community, the art communities, should be empowered. And this is why we thought of the Nifty Row DAO token, which will be managed through an on-chain governance, through membership, either subscription to the token when there's a token sale, or participating either as officers or performing things like bounties for the market or activities. And the real strategy here is to go to the grassroots, where artists are sort of being trained, and that is the universities, to begin to work with the, we're very close to the University of Lagos here in Nigeria, with the faculty members, and we're looking to empower a lot of the youths there, and also the professional bodies like the Society of Nigerian Artists in Nigeria. So the token are supposed to support this community through a number of incentives and benefits, including being able to vote on proposals, early access to pre-sales, authorized collections, guaranteed royalties, and NFT lots, and so on and so forth. I think I lost the slide trail over there. Should I? Okay, better. Right. NFT lots, discounted fees, of course, if you mint your artwork through the marketplace, and low gas. Of course, we inherit this from the Harmony blockchain, which allow users to also decide to mint through the bridge, whether on Ethereum or Binance Smart Chain, or other of the Ethereum variants or layer 2 blockchains. Exclusive access to BINs, and funding on creative initiative and projects. So there will be a fund, a creative fund, that will allow artists or groups of artists of the community to have funding, sort of what Harmony is doing, but more focused around the art community. Next slide, please. So what are the problems we're trying to solve? I've mentioned them, but how are they affecting more the day-to-day? Limited historical success and ability to track African artwork. This is affecting the value of African artwork. And we think they're going for cheap in the global market. They could command a whole lot more. Inadequate presentation of African art within the global art scene, leading to reduced visibility and prestige, and of course, the value, as I've already mentioned. So being able to take the artworks to the collectors or the customers or the investors through sort of like a standard broker model, e-commerce platform enabled and powered by Harmony blockchain. In Africa and other underserved regions, artists and creatives struggle to attain their global market potential in recognition, in income and value. Several African artists struggle with unique asset representation and protection against forgery. We know there's a lot of counterfeits out there. So using the blockchain to record, create some sort of a digital identity where we tokenize these titles for the artwork. It will be easier to verify and ensure you have the authentic product. Artists have limited access to financial services, be it savings, credit, and insurance. We know these are all available through DeFi. So these are some of the development work that we're yet to do that a grant would help us with. Ethereum DeFi platform can be cumbersome, costly, and difficult to verify, leading to distrust. We've seen rug pulls with some of the DeFi platforms out there. Next slide. So the solution really is Nifty Marketplace DAO powered by Harmony would foster collaborations with the art community and the grassroots level while eliminating and reducing market limitations and transaction costs. So that is really what we are trying to achieve as a solution. And if you look at this on a point basis, on point 1, increased global visibility with resulting increase in value for African art powered by Harmony's NFTs to enable tracking, auditing of provenance of artwork provenance. African artists begin to enjoy higher revenue by taking products closer to customers for better customer experience. African artists gain competitive advantage by using value-added software tools for payments powered by Harmony blockchain while optimizing collaborations. Secu will be a project I just told Jake would like to collaborate with. Perhaps gamers could begin to trade and swap weapons or tools within the marketplace. This is very possible if we have a shared ecosystem powered by Harmony. On the fourth side, an active creative fund dedicated to providing DeFi services to artists and funding creative projects. So artists could begin to get that credit or insurance or staking and being able to earn, whether you're a collector or a creator. These are some of the possibilities we're looking at. Next slide, please. So the ask is a very small $50,000, which would go around getting the marketplace to go live and support the creative communities, where we're looking at cloud services, partnerships with the different, whether it's the professional association, the educational institutions and departments, marketing, legal, to ensure that everybody has the legal side covered, whether you're the Association of Galleries or the Artist Association of Artists. Of course, the additional development work we need to do, co-working space where we all can come together, and we must always have a contingency budget in case something unexpected comes up, and more and more on collaborations. Jay will really like to do some collaboration with you and potentially others. And that's it, really, in a nutshell. I hope. Next slide.
Respect of time, I think I'll give this chance to Q&A, both from the live audience in Nairobi, as well as for the audience that's joining us online. So who has a question? Great, we have a question here.
So my name is Dear Gracious again. So how does the artist mint their NFT, and how will you ensure that the correct artist, the correct piece of art belongs to the correct piece of artist, so that the correct person is compensated, and to avoid this copyright? Because if anyone launches their art on the blockchain, it will already be permanent, and so no one can claim it. But if that person has launched a piece of art that belongs to another person, this means that the wrong person will be compensated. So how will you fight against fraud and ensure that only copyright material is present in a Nifty raw?
Thank you very much for that question. This is a big issue. There have been quite a number of artworks that has led to legal issues that have come up on OpenSeas. And this is why the DAO is important. And this is why the community needs to be involved, because there will be self-validating. So you have to be a member of the community to mint. You have to either go, if you want to mint a digital art, you go through the community to get vetted. And if you're going to sell a physical artwork, you go through the galleries. The galleries have a process which is well established to ensure that counterfeit products are not coming to the marketplace. And this is why we need to make sure we're taking care of legal, and we have a budget for that as well. So we're not just acting as technologists or artists. We have to pay attention to the legal ramifications as well. Thank you.
From the online audience, any question? Maybe team on your end, do you have a question for Bolaji from the audience that's joining us online?
George, I don't see any questions, but Balaji, how did you get involved in the art world?
Oh, very interesting. I've always loved art. My late dad was a collector. But recently I led a team to deliver a solution based on for the Nigerian Stock Exchange for fractional investment in tangible assets, looking at real estate and art. And of course, being that they were a stock exchange, they were not interested in the wholesale market. And as we were implementing that project, the NFT market started to boom late last year, early this year. And so while concluding that project immediately, we spotted that opportunity and we researched the market and realized there was a huge gap, and there was a lot to do to bring the market, the African art market, you know, a bit forward from where it is currently.
The last question before we go to the next presenter. And guys, remember to use the hashtag Harmony to Africa, Harmony to Kenya, and post your questions, post your comments there. Yeah, Balaji, the last question for you.
Okay, I see a question here that said, how do you convince people to buy NFTs when there is copy and paste? First of all, there's a misconception. NFTs just don't represent digital art. NFTs represent tangible assets, including physical art, real estate, and more. You could definitely mint an NFT to represent a Lamborghini, and then a lot of things can start to happen. So digital art just happens to be the first sort of use case that became really global. We believe that the contemporary art, which is physical art, will have more longevity because there is already a huge industry in that's been around for time immemorial, since pharaohs. So, and this is why we believe that NFTs should represent both digital and physical art. So we are looking at that both. And there are two audiences here. There are those who are into the new thing, which is the digital art. And there are those who are traditional, who are more into contemporary arts. And we will be bringing the technology to eradicate the issues in that particular segment of the market.
On to the last question. Being inspired by your marketplace, just like how OpenSea has different wallets connect to your marketplace, I would also like, if you enter the Kenyan market, we can collaborate, because you have mentioned that your marketplace gives opportunities to the locals. So when we launch our mobile wallet, we can be able to have people buy and connect through our API, through your marketplace, and they can be able to buy and sell, as you've mentioned. So thanks so much for your creativity.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for the opportunity.
Perfect. Balaji, you're welcome to partner with Dave from Advan Capital, really doing amazing work. Now guys, let's get online. Use the hashtag Harmony to Africa, Harmony to Kenya. Right now, we have very amazing projects. We saved the best for the last, and we wanted to make sure that you get the last, the last presentation that's going to wow you, and you can make a guess. So next on stage is my co-host, co-moderator. A round of applause for Yvonne. So Yvonne is going to be presenting a very amazing proposition, and she's going to do a great job. Yvonne, over to you.
Thank you. Slides. Okay. So, hello everyone. My slides have disappeared. Okay. So, okay. My proposition is about the Agenda Dao, which is targeting women in this space. And just to give general statistics, as we all know, blockchain is male dominated. It's obvious. We don't need statistically speaking, as of around 2018, 2019, we had only 14% of men in the workspace. Only 14% of the workspace were women. And it's even less when it comes to bigger roles such as management and That's for various reasons. Like my biggest attribution to this is that women tend to shy away from blockchain because when they hear the hard terms of blockchain Web3, they tend to, at least the women I have spoken to, they tend to feel like they don't understand. It's a bit difficult. So my idea, my proposition is introducing women to career-friendly options that are a great way to pierce and grow into the industry. And this is not to say that women can't succeed in the blockchain space. We have very many, quite a number of women who are managers, who are developers, and they do so well in this space. They just need, the women that are missing out need to a bit of motivation, to sort of a bit of push from the women that are inside this space to bring over to this great industry. Next slide, please. So just a bit of background about myself. My name is Yvonne Agondu. I have been in the blockchain space for about 4 to 5 years. And when I joined this space, I was straight from uni. I'm also a mother. I was becoming a mother, and I really wanted, in Kenya, it's very difficult to get a job as a young person and also as a woman especially. So for me, blockchain was do or die. I needed to find a way to make money in this space. So I started working in volunteer positions for a number of years before I started discovering career options that I could do that are favorable for me. And with time, I've noticed that I started training more women in just friends and colleagues on how they can develop themselves in the industry. And for this, that's why I want to expand it into a more structured system, and forming Agenda DAO was the best option for me. So currently I work as a consultant for a number of companies, and that's what I want to train more women to do. Next slide. So a number of these careers that I believe are very suitable for women are such as community management, event organizing, writing, PR. And why these specific careers? One reason is because there's demand. I know, for example, community management, which I started with, an average community manager would manage 5 to 7 communities. And that's just something simple like social media management, but you're overworked because there are not enough people. People mostly want to do development, build huge team, but they're not enough. There's a huge gap in the industry. There's more demand for marketing people and digital marketers, event organizers. And this is not something that you need to learn how to, you need to go to a dev school to grasp. Anyone can do it. Every industry needs a marketer. We have so many events. A lot of the other speakers have talked about having more meetups, more MCs, PR, public relations, localization. Blockchain is a global industry. So there's always the need of finding translators, someone who understands the local market. And women really adapt to these roles. And there is a huge gap from my experience in these particular sectors. Next slide, please. So my model of business is the Andela model. I don't know if anyone is familiar with Andela, but Andela is mostly works with training while paying. So what happens is you train someone and then you pay them in the process. That's what I wish to employ for the women that that's what I normally do, just expanding it, getting women under our governors on the DAO who are people with experience in the blockchain industry, training them while using them as our assistants to elevate their careers, also training them to build their CVs. And in this way, there's incentive to learn in this space. And as I mentioned before, women do excel in this position. They just need a bit of motivation. If you start with a community manager, a community management role, a digital marketing role, and you realize, I can actually do better. Maybe I'm an NFT artist. Maybe I can do better in this sector. This is enough motivation for you to grow, as many women are doing in this space. And also there's in the blockchain space, from what I've learned is you have to leverage on social media and LinkedIn, build a CV well, create an online presence. That's part of the things that I usually train, and my friends, the people I added onto the DAO, that's what we usually work on, creating an online presence and how we train other people. Next slide. So these are my governors. People we've worked with before. Some of them I've actually trained myself. Some of them are people with experience in this space. Next slide. I had other slides. I think they disappeared. This is my old slides. Yeah, so I had a slide about the budget, but it seems to have disappeared. Okay, so my ask is around, I had a breakdown of missing anyway. Okay, so for me, for us, for our DAO, what we've structured it as is a 4-step system, a 3-month program for every recruitee. So the first step would be, of course, in DAOs, you have to create like the DAO stacks, the smart contracts. That's step 1. And creating concrete responsibilities for the 9 governors, getting physical locations for the trainings, setting the curriculum for the course. The course would be something simple. You don't need to know the technicalities of building a smart contract to establish a career in blockchain. You don't need to become a developer and make a Hello World page or something. And also creating partnerships with companies that we could the team, the people our recruitees could work with, that would need partnerships with companies. That would be our first step, with a timeline of the first 1 month, which would be a budget of around 20,000 USD. Then the step 2 would be recruiting the first cohort of students. We're targeting, for the first one, we're targeting around 10 students, and we train them on the basics of blockchain and describe which roles they can do for at least 1 month, just training, pure training. Of course, we'll talk about things like Web3, NFTs, DeFi, etc., that are very common in the space. There's common terms like hodl and all those common basic terms. That's a timeline of 1 month for the first cohort. The next step would be now starting the work process, hiring them under the companies that we work for, to actually leverage on their skills. Now this way they learn faster because they're actually on the ground. And this is where the business model come in. If of course, while starting out, as I said, when I started my career, I started volunteer for a number of years. And while starting out, we expect them to do a number of volunteer roles, and then as we go on, we expect to build it as a consultancy, and that's where the business of the project will be in the long run. And then the final step is training them how to set up professional profiles, professional CVs, a system in the job applying places, which are quite a number in the blockchain space, and then releasing them to the world. So our total budget is 75,000 USD for a 4-month period starting out. Then the business sort of grows and self-finances. Yeah, that's it for me. Any questions?
Applause for co-host Yvonne. So we'll jump straight to Q&A, both from the live audience here as well as the online audience. So I'll give any question in the room. If not, let's go to the audience that's joining us online. Any question for the Kenya Gender DAO presented by Yvonne? So Yvonne, may I have there's a question. Okay, so what are some of the roles you're going to train the students? Can you build on roles such as blogging?
Yes, that was, I said the number of roles. That includes marketing, digital marketing, community management, data analyzing, public relations, blogging, localization, amongst others, because blockchain is a startup industry. There are a lot of careers that's
So Yvonne, I have a question as well. So some of the models that you're going to include, that's blogging, as well as, so you're going to use the Andela model, whereby when you train these young female or young ladies, you're going also to make sure that maybe they participate in some maybe proposals or some projects that are coming from here, as well as, let's say, here in Kenya, Africa, as well as some of the proposals that are being built on Harmony. Is that your target as well?
Okay. So hello, if you pay someone to learn, how will you ensure that the value is recouped so that the gender DAO is self-sustaining and hence will enable you to repeat the process and be able to train more people?
So to ensure that the business is self-sustaining, using the Andela model, when we have this junior assistants working under us, would have a sort of sharing, where a certain amount of the, if we are hired as consultants in a particular industry, we get to share in like this amount goes to the recruitees and this amount goes back to the business. Yeah. That's how we plan on sustaining, ensuring that the business is self-sustaining in the long run.
Right. There is no other. There's one more question in the room, maybe the last one from the room.
And maybe we can give the live audience the last question.
Thank you for the chance to ask this question. My question is the gender DAO restricted to women only? And if so, why?
Yes, it's well, you could contribute to the DAO in other ways, but in terms of the assistants that we will be working with, we want to work with women as a start. Yeah. Why? Because from what I've seen from the research that I've done, my interactions with people, women sort of need a push to get, and there is in Kenya here especially, there's a huge unemployment gap for us young women, and that's the problem that we are trying to tackle. Yeah, specifically women. And men are usually very innovative. There's so many men who are traders, there's many men who are developers. Yeah, my friend told me it's because it's mason work, kazi ya mjengo. That's why women don't like it, apparently. Well, I like it. Eventually I liked it. If you start small and grow. Yeah.
Great.
Well, amazing. And thanks, Yvonne. Thanks, my co-host. And tonight, morning or afternoon, whichever part of the world that you're joining us, has been an amazing event. We have seen more than 8 presentations, 8 proposals. We started with the Kenya Harmony Dao. Kindly go to Harmony 1 and then go to DAO section. You can comment. You can also give a suggestion. We had also another project by Africa Ambassadors by Paul. Paul, maybe you can stand as well. And then we have another proposal by I want the whole team that presented just to come here just to say the final word as well. Yvonne, yeah, don't stay there, just come. Yeah. So this is the team that presented tonight that are here physically in the room, but also we had other guys like Jay, as well as Bolaji from
London, as well as we had Jay in Kilifi. And just to sensitize, go to Harmony One, look out for their projects as well, and also go to Twitter, use the hashtag Harmony to Africa, Harmony to Kenya, and give a positive review. Make sure that these projects get visibility, and as well as they get the potential of getting some funding. I'll just give them just one, just they say 2 words, not even just 2 words, where we can get their projects, how we can contact them. Just quickly.
You can contact our project at harmony talk.harmony.one. We have submitted already a project, and this is the time for Africa, and we are here to make it happen. Thank you.
You can contact me by Googling Advan Capital, or if you're in the DAO group, I am currently a part of Harmony Afrika Dao and Kenya Harmony Africa. And also you can find us on LinkedIn at Advan Capital. And thanks so much for your time, guys, and cheers.
You can find me on Telegram. My username is Morningstar, and my Twitter username is at Anthony Kimani. I actually follow Harmony staff. Yeah, so you can find me there. All Harmony's posts, I am there.
Good evening. You can find our proposal Talk Harmony, the chat for DAOs. And you can also look me up on Medium, Daniel Ayuko, and on LinkedIn.
Okay. Oh, okay. I switched it off. Okay, for me, you can Google me to see the you can Google me to see the work I've done before, and you please follow me on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on Instagram as Yvonne Kagondu everywhere. And yeah, I just want to thank the organizers of the event, especially George and Anton and Eduardo and all the presenters for joining us today.
Yeah, great. We are not forgetting the 2 presenters that were joining us virtually. There's Jay. Jay, just a quick one.
Where can we get your project? Just chop.
Sure. Thanks, George, and thanks everyone for organizing. I just want to say that this is really important for all of us in Africa as a community, and so I'd ask everybody to go on the talk.harmony.one and click that like button and support the projects that you've seen tonight. I think it sends a message to the global Harmony community.
Right, Balaji, just a quick one.
Yeah, guys, thanks so much for the opportunity, and the organizers and Harmony community and the Harmony blockchain team to check out our project. Just visit niftyroll.io or on Twitter, Twitter/niftyroll. Or just Google my name. I'm also on LinkedIn. So we're really glad to be a part of this community from West Africa and Nigeria.
Thank you to all the presenters. It was really amazing, and also to the community that joined us online. Kindly support these projects by commenting, as well as just giving some positive or maybe positive comments or positive criticism. Also check out Harmony Dao. Kenya Harmony Dao, their work is just to make sure that we continue, we mushroom as many DAOs as possible, as well as we come up and support as many projects as possible. Now, I'd like to hand over to Eduardo, as well as now also to give the final remarks, and also maybe to invite a member from Harmony, just to give the closing remarks as well.
Thank you, everybody. It has been a tremendous pleasure. It's hard to believe that we started working less than a month ago in Kenya and in Africa with the Afrika Dao. So it's wonderful to see the progress. It's wonderful to see how many DAOs and activities have been put together so quickly. And I wish you best of luck, but I also encourage you to find that luck. What do I mean by that? Help each other get that luck. I know for a fact that Harmony values a lot, the Harmony community values a lot, the comments that everybody makes when they have to decide which DAO or grant gets funding. So my recommendation would be, make sure you check out each other's activities, each other's ideas, add comments there on talk.harmony.one, like you have all mentioned, and this helps each of you refine your grant, because it's collective knowledge. The more it's refined, the more it's concrete, the more you answer to questions from your fellow grantees and potential grantees, etc., the higher the chances of achieving that grant, because it's very important for Harmony to see that the community is engaging with your project, right? So I think there's a great opportunity for all of us to learn from each other here and get a higher possibility of success. So please go ahead, add comments there, interact, and make sure you tell each other what you think. Take some time to give each other feedback, because that feedback then can be incorporated into the proposal and increase your chances. On a completely different note, I just wanted to let you know that we're going to be extremely active in Kenya for the month of January and February, and that from February on, we will be moving on to do activities in other countries. Nigeria will be one of them, Uganda, we're looking at Tanzania, we're looking at a bunch of others. But just to keep things a bit closer, only for the month of January, we have a gender meetup that we will be putting in place with other partners, among which is the Her DAO. We will be doing our first meetup outside of Nairobi. We'll be traveling to Mombasa, and I know we've got some good friends there that will be taking care of us. We have Fatma, we have Jay, etc. On March 8th, we will be, which is International Women's Day, we will be doing 8th and 9th, a gender themed hackathon that I'm incredibly excited about. We will also be looking at launching developer trainings from January on. So if you're interested in increasing your knowledge on Solidity, if you know of any good schools we should be partnering with, etc., make sure you talk to George. And we will also be looking at doing basic trainings for journalists just on blockchain, so they get a different vision of things, and potentially even regulators. So there's a lot that is happening. If you want to help out, if you want to participate, make sure you talk to George, and off we go. This is only the beginning. So again, thank you very, very much. We're going to leave it here. I wish you best of luck, and I'm sure we will be seeing lots of these ideas approved very, very soon. And I'll see you in Kenya in January. Thank you.
A round of applause for Dora. Maybe one word from Jack, maybe comment or something. Yeah. No worries if Jack is not there. Then Greg.
You put a little message up there. You might be having a problem with the connection before. Thank you everyone for attending. Special thanks to the organizers and presenters. Amazing projects and ideas. Keep it up. We look forward to working with you in the near future. So it's great that we had Jack here all the time. Jack is part of the core team, and he's been following this closely. We've been engaging behind the scenes, and very, very impressed by all the projects. And I'm sure we'll be getting lots of positive feedback from the Harmony community very soon on the projects.
Yeah, so thank you so much. Thank you for the online audience. To where you have whichever part of the world you are, have a good day, have a good evening, or have a good night. Thank you so much, and thank you for the team that came here. Thank you so much. Let's meet up soon. Let's comment, and a round of applause for. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.